Hey guys, so I'm back. This is a knitting podcast with a little bit of a focus on designing because I am a full-time knitwear designer. You can find me on Instagram at the Blue Mouse with an underscore at the end, and I'm the Blue Mouse on Ravelry. Yeah, you can find me all there if you want to catch up with me. I'm very active on Instagram. If you want to just be up to date on new patterns, just whatever's going on in life, and just be a part of the conversation, please just come say hi on Instagram or just say hi in the comments. I would love to get to know you guys. So yeah, let's get into the nitty goodness. So I'm back and I'm going to be trying to do more regular podcasts. My goal is shorter episodes once a week. Don't completely hold me to that because, I just got engaged, so it's going to be pretty hectic for the next 2 months. But I am really going to try and do that because I really look forward to people who podcast every single week. Like Kristen of Volenvine, I look forward to her podcast every week, and I want to have people feel the same way about this and be able to expect and count on an episode every week. So, with that being said, these are going to be shorter episodes, so there's going to be less for me to share each week. That way, it should keep it with just the things I'm working on, and then we'll do whips, FOs, and end it off with a little bit about my life if you care to hear about that. So, I guess actually we'll start with acquisitions. So I got the newest issue of Lina magazine, and it is amazing. I pre-ordered this from the Woolly Thistle, I think, and it got here when I was on vacation. So I got the email that it was delivered, and I had to wait an extra week to come home and get it. So I was so excited to come home and open it and dive into it, and it is stunning. They showed the patterns beforehand. They had them up on Ravelry, so we were able to see them, but still, I was very excited. And one of the reasons that I was really excited about this issue is that they traveled to Iceland and they took all the photos. So for example, this was shot in Iceland, and that's just kind of one of the fun things about this issue for me, is that Iceland will always have a very special place in my heart. I went there a few years ago and it was the best vacation I've ever been on. So that holds a special place in my heart, and I just had to grab the issue. I haven't read the entire thing yet, but I'm hoping to dive into the second half later this week. It is beautiful. I think their issue number 4, this is issue number 6, but I think I also have their issue number 4, which came out in the late winter, early spring of last year, or of this year, and it is just the best publication, I think. It is really well made, it is sturdy, and it's like a book more than it is a magazine. So I really love this. If they start doing a yearly subscription, I'm going to totally look into getting that because it's just so worth the money. And then just 2 more acquisitions for this episode. So I have a new design that I'm starting, and it's a collaboration with my favorite indie dyer, Allie from Explorer Knits and Fibers. And so these are going to be the 3 colors that go into it. This is DK weight, so it's going to be a DK weight top-down seamless yoke sweater that has some color work. I have never been so excited for a pattern before. It's going to be challenging because I've not have very much experience with color work, but I am so excited for it. So I'm finishing up everything I need to do this week, and then I am swatching and starting this next week, which is crazy, and it's DK weight, so it should go by fairly quickly, which is awesome. So I'm hoping to have this finished up by the end of this month, if not earlier, and then off to testers and out to you guys. So, have you guys ever heard of the Wool Barn? So I heard about them. I mean, I think I've seen them around on Instagram and stuff, but I heard about them on the Periscoping Sisters podcast, and I just went to their website a month and a half ago or something, and She had been talking about the fingering weight. I think it was an MCN, but their DK weight really stood out to me. I really want to do a lot more DK and worsted weight sweaters in the coming months. So I just found these colors. It fit exactly with an idea that I have had for a little while. So this is more DK weight yarn that I'm going to turn into a color blocked sweater. So I probably won't get started on this until I get all the current whips and patterns out. So maybe mid-November, early December. It all depends on how crazy the next few months are going to be. And the final one, I got some yarn from Coast to Coast. Look at how gorgeous this sock set is. It's called Inkling and Lavender, and it is 100% superwash merino. So the first color, I believe, is probably Inkling, and this one is probably Lavender, but just these colors, they go so well together, and it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but this main skein has little bits of lavender in it, and it's the exact same shade as this. So I'm excited to work those up into a pair of socks for, I think for myself. I think they're gonna be a selfish knit. Maybe these will be my wedding socks, I don't know. I'm wearing wool socks and either boots or slippers for my wedding day, so it'd be kind of fun to have hand knit wool socks on that day. So I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what I can get through before then. So that's all I really have for acquisitions, and we can just jump straight into whips. So let's see, I've got a lot of sweaters going on and a lot of fingering weight sweaters. I'm trying to finish up these fingering weight sweaters and then transition into DK and worsted weight. I love, love, love the feeling of a fingering weight sweater. Like this sweater here is a fingering weight sweater, but they just take me too long to knit. So, and I know that a lot of you have been requesting thicker weighted sweaters, so I want to be able to have a mix of both. So this sweater I am collaborating with a company called Cocone, but it is a colorwork intarsia sweater. So this is what it looks like. Sorry, it's a little wrinkled. This is what it looks like so far. So the back looks exactly the same, except it doesn't have the cable. So I asked you guys on an Instagram live a few weeks ago if I should do a cable on the back, and you were all like, no, just leave it plain. And I completely agree. It just looks better if it's plain on the back and that little bit of cabling interest on the front. So it's just a basic staghorn cable that is really, really pretty. So that runs all the way up the front. So you start with your color A, which is the pink, and then you work a front panel and then a back panel, and you seam them together. And it's going to have kind of a scoop neck. I haven't added the neckline yet, but it will also be in that pink color. And then the sleeves are not going to be intarsia. They're going to be color blocked, because intarsia is really fiddly and annoying when you try and do it in the round. You basically have to either do some kind of wrap and turn, which looks messy, or you have to carry your floats of the second color all the way around. So I just didn't want to mess with that. So that's why the front and back are worked in panels, so you don't have to worry about working that in the round. And then the sleeves are going to be color blocked. So here's what I have so far. Nothing too crazy, it's just going to be some purple, some cream, and then I think more purple and more pink. And then the other sleeve will be a different arrangement of colors. Yeah, I have it written down in my notebook, but I haven't picked this back up since I've been back from vacation. I've just been typing up the pattern because the pattern is done. I'm just organizing it into a PDF and getting it off to my tech editor, and then I'll finish knitting the sleeves. But basically, these are the 4 colors right here, which I think go so well together. So this yarn company had a call for submissions over the summer, and they had kind of a mood board of what they wanted, and it fit really well with a design that I had been thinking up. So we're working together and it should be out. So I think we settled on Saturday the 24th of November for the release date. So that is a few days after the American Thanksgiving. So it should be just a good, really fun pattern. I can't wait to finish it and see what it looks like with the neckline when I pick up those stitches and finish that off, because it looks kind of raw and it just doesn't have quite the full effect without the finished neckline. So that is my first WIP. Alright, so the next one is also a fingering weight sweater, and this is a collaboration with Little Lotus Lane. So her yarn is unbelievable. She has this green, which is my absolute favorite color. Look how gorgeous that is. Sorry, it's all wrinkled. It's all wrinkled because it's been kind of crunched up in a bag as I've been working on it and taking it places. But here I have it so far. It's just the most gorgeous green. So the plan for this one is to have a long, open back, double V-neck sweater that is long enough to wear with leggings. So what I mean by double V-neck is that the front will have a V-neck that is kind of like down to here, and then the back is going to have a really deep V-neck. So I'm excited for that. It's definitely a challenging design because the back V-neck kind of starts before you split for the sleeves, so it's that low, and so it's figuring out how to write it. I know exactly what needs to happen. It's just trying to write it in a way that is clear enough for a bunch of people to understand it, which I think is honestly the hardest part about designing for me. Is I know how to do it because, you know, I've been working on it for so long and I've wrapped my brain around it. But then it's like, how do I tell other people how to do this? So that one will be a lot of fun to finish. I can't wait to finish it and see what it looks like on. It'll be the perfect winter sweater, I think, because it will have long sleeves and you can wear it with like boots and leggings, but it will also have the interest of both of those V-necks. So yeah, that one is fully written out. I already have all the math done for it, and I was trying a new way of doing the math beforehand and then knitting it up, and if it works, then I can go ahead and just translate that to multiple sizes and get the pattern out. So I should be done with that one in a couple weeks and off to the testers. Hopefully it'll be out probably a little bit before Christmas, maybe around Christmas. But yeah, I think that, oh, I do have more. We finally have some cooler weather. It's been in the mid to upper 80s for like weeks, and it's so frustrating because it's like, it's October, we want the leaves to start changing and the weather to start changing, and today is the first day in a long time where it has been cool. So I think it's probably in like the 50s, maybe the 60s today, so I'm gonna have all the windows open and just be knitting in pure bliss. So anyway, I don't know about you guys, but I have started on my Christmas knitting because I want to be on top of it, and thank God I started earlier because I had no idea I was getting engaged. It was a complete surprise. So I was like, oh, I have so much time to do all this Christmas knitting, but maybe I'll start earlier. And now you throw wedding planning into the mix, and I'm really glad I started early because now I might have a chance of finishing in time. This is the Deneagle sweater by, I believe her name is Moira Engel. I'll put it in the show notes if that's not correct. And this is it so far. So it is quite the big sweater. It is for my future brother-in-law, and he is, like, he works out a lot, so he's pretty, like, built and big, broad shoulders. So I had to pick a good size for that, and I mean, men's sweaters just take forever to knit compared to ones for us, don't they? So this is his. It has this beautiful cabling in the front, and I love it. I really, really love it. So I'll give you. So it actually has two different charts. So this line of cabling here on the outer edges, so like here, that is a different cable than the like diamond shape in the middle. So a couple people have asked me what the name of the pattern is, and I don't know. It's just written as, I think, chart 1 and chart 2 in the pattern. So I can't help you with that, I'm sorry. You'll have to buy the pattern in order to get it. but it really is just beautiful. I didn't really realize exactly what it looked like because the pictures on Ravelry, the sweater is made in a really dark blue, so it's hard to see exactly what the cable looks like. So I didn't even know that this outer cabling existed. So another cool element is these wrapped stitches here. I don't know how well you can see those, but basically you just take, in this case it's 3 stitches, and you wrap your yarn around them 3 times, and then you just keep knitting. So it creates this really cool kind of, well, exactly what it sounds like, these wrap stitches, which I think looks absolutely gorgeous. I really love that detailing. So I'm excited to finish this one. I'd say I'm maybe 2 rows away from shaping the armholes, and then it's just another, I don't know, 10 inches or so. It shouldn't be that long. It's actually, once you get into a good rhythm of it and you can look at the pattern and know what's supposed to happen next, it is really fast. And I actually found that breaking it up into the repeats for the pattern with stitch markers has been so helpful, because then I can just go and not have to get stuck and go back and look at, like, what was I supposed to do here? It really helps to split it up with stitch markers. And then I believe this is just my last one. I have bags upon bags upon bags of other whips. Actually, I do have one more I'll show you, but I'm trying to keep the episodes short and only show you what I'm actually working on. I have been working on this shawl for way too long. I'm trying to have it done, or this part done, by the end of the week, and then do the knitted on border next week. So this should be out in November, no problem. So this is using Hello Stella, and this is her single ply base. I forget what the base is called, but I'll put it in the show notes. So this is, I believe, November Rain is the color of this. It is just the most beautiful purple, and I think the name just really seems to fit for some reason. And so I am almost done with my yarn cake. It's a really floppy cake at this point, and it's almost out of yardage. So once I run out, then I will do a knitted on garter border. So this really, or edging, border edging, I don't know what you want to call it. So this is going to be just a really potato chippy, easy to follow pattern, but it's going to have enough detail that it is worth, you know, knitting. Because sometimes if it's too potato chippy, you don't want to keep going. But my goal is to make it that it has enough interest that you want to keep knitting, but also is easy enough that you can bring it to like social events or knit night or whatever and not have trouble with it. Okay, so the last whip I have is the No Frills Sweater by Petite Knit. I'm definitely going to have to redo one of the sleeves, but here's where I'm at so far. I've finished the body and I finished one of the sleeves, and I'm about 2/3 of the way done with the second sleeve. So here's what it looks like. So I really like it. I actually won this yarn in a giveaway. I watched the Do You Knit podcast and I entered one of their giveaways, and they were actually giving away a Maritimo kit, which is by Caitlin Hunter, but I had already bought yarn for the Maritimo, so I decided to just use this for another pattern that I wanted to make, and the No Frills sweater seemed really perfect. So this is really my first successful raglan, I guess. I've never followed a raglan pattern of someone else's, so I've learned a lot from this. And this is made with Hedgehog Fibers sock, and I believe this color is called Cereal, and I don't remember the name of this one. I'll put it in the show notes. So I definitely made some modifications. The Petite Knit pattern says to carry a strand of fingering weight and a strand of mohair together. I did not get any mohair, I just wanted the normal look. And so I had to do some math to figure out, all right, my gauge is this, what size do I make to give me the size I want? So I wanted to make the size small, but because of my gauge, if I make the size extra large, it gives me the size small, if that makes sense. So it had some kind of fudging to do with that, and I had to keep track of, okay, knit to this many inches, and I had to, look at my row gauge and see how many rows that is for me because it's not the same as the pattern. And so I think this sleeve is way too long, because I believe this is where I started it, and this is already like 10 and a half inches, and then you take, I don't know, 17 inches or something for the sleeve. I just think when I try it on now it fits, so I know because it's superwash that it will stretch like crazy when I block it. So I think I'm gonna steam it and see how much it grows, and then I'll probably rip back. And I did the decreases kind of wonky on the first sleeve because I was on the beach and I was distracted. So the second sleeve is much better, and so I'm gonna do the second sleeve and steam it as I go to get the right length. And then I will fix the other sleeve, block it, and be able to wear it. That is to no fault of the pattern. The pattern is, pretty easy to follow. I find it a lot easier when you can print out a pattern and highlight the size that you're making and everything. That really seems to help me out. So I did that for this trip. I brought that on the trip with me and was able to do that, and that helped me a lot. So yeah, I think that is everything that I really have to share in terms of knitting. Oh, one last thing. This sweater that I'm wearing is my Husavik sweater. It's a little wrinkly. Sorry, I had it all folded up. But this is my Husavik sweater. It has this really cool neckline that I love. So you just bind off this straight line, and then you work a little bit of just normal shoulders and a little bit of shaping. And so I love the look of that. It kind of gives it kind of a raw edge, but it's purposeful and I really like it. I love miles and miles of ribbing. I know ribbing is not the most fun thing to actually knit, but it is a lot of fun to have at the end. I think I love the look of it. And this is just all, it's got a split hem here, and then this is all just reverse stockinette. But the nice thing about it is that it's worked inside out. So you don't have to do just miles of purling. It's just straight knitting, and then you turn it the right side out when you're done with it. Yeah, so the neckline is just kind of straight across with a little bit of extra down here, but there's no need to pick up stitches or anything for the neckline, which I love. It makes it really simple and easy. And the sleeves are actually picked up inside out, and then you knit them down so that when you turn the sweater the right side out, you get the reverse stockinette look without having to do all that purling, which is really nice. And I love that the cuff is just a really long stretch of ribbing, because it can be kind of tedious to knit, but it is so worth it in my opinion in the end. Like, all this ribbing just looks so pretty. So this is my Husavik sweater. It will be out at the end of this month. It is currently in testing, so be on the lookout for that. You can see it on my Instagram. So that's all I have that's really knitting related. And yeah, I'm just going to chat a little bit about life and give you an update if you care to stick around. So if you don't, you don't have to. I totally get it if you're just here for the knitting. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. But for the rest of you, yeah, craziest thing ever. Got engaged last week at the beach. I don't know if you guys care. This is the ring. See if I can give you a better close-up. This is the ring. It's really pretty. So I think he did an incredible job picking it out. I could not have picked better for myself. I absolutely love it. But it was just the biggest surprise. I had no idea it was coming. I thought maybe at the start of the new year it might happen, but I never imagined it would happen on vacation or this soon, but I am overjoyed that it did. Yeah, so we got most of it planned in I want to say the first 3 days. We're like, all right, here's all the things we want. So we still have to find the specific things, but we have the framework all planned out. Both of us are very organized and planners, so it's made the process pretty easy, I should say. Obviously, it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world, but we are getting married the second week in December, which I know is really fast. It's 2 months away, but we found this venue that we loved, and it was either the second week in December or the last week in January. And so we were like, it just sounded very nice, to be married and to be able to celebrate our first Christmas together as, a married couple. So we picked the earlier date so we could do that. So we're going to go to a cabin for our honeymoon and then save up and go out west and do like the Pacific Northwest area sometime next year, because it's kind of too cold and too snowy to go much of anywhere at this time of year, or at that time of year. So yeah, it's really crazy. He did it on the beach at sunset, got down on one knee and everything. Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy, crazy process. We're looking for an apartment or a house or something right now. And yeah, it's gonna be the biggest life change. I've been living with my parents still since I graduated college, just so I could, start a business and get the ball rolling on that, so I didn't have to pay for rent or something and have to get a second job. So it'll be kind of strange to be moving out and having, that big change. I'm excited for it, but it's definitely going to be an adjustment period for me. And I don't know, the whole process is very fun and overwhelming and great and amazing all at the same time. Yeah, but I'm soaking it all up right now, and it's crazy. I don't know what else to say. It's just crazy. I'm still in shock from all of it. Still kind of feel like I'm dreaming, but it's gonna be just the best time. Yeah, we're getting married in a barn. We're having a bluegrass band. It's gonna be a good time. I'm very excited. So that is pretty much all I've been doing for the past 2 weeks. We went to the beach, which was amazing, but he proposed, I think, 2 or 3 days in. So the rest of the time was just like kind of a whirlwind of planning and excitement. It was nice because we got to sit out and soak up the sun, and I'm sure I don't look like I've gotten a lot of sun. I'm freckly, but I don't really tan. Yeah, I am excited to get back to work and to get started on patterns again and get back in the swing of things, but also just very excited for the next 2 months and all that that entails. But yeah, thanks for sticking through the episode. I'll see you guys next week. Yeah, thanks for watching.